I stand before you today, not only with a heavy heart, but also with a steadfast conviction. For far too long, too many voices have chosen silence. Too many eyes have turned away from the truth of what is happening to a land and a people who have given immeasurable gifts to this region and to humanity. But today, I refuse to turn away. Today, I stand firmly with Qatar, and I call upon those who hold the levers of power, especially His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed Bin Salman and the leadership of Saudi Arabia, to act, to respond, to choose a nobler path, a path of peace, solidarity, and protection. When I speak of Qatar, I do not speak of a dot on a map or a mere geopolitical entity. I speak of a nation that has opened its doors to strangers, built bridges when others built walls, and extended compassion where others hesitated. Time and again, Qatar has stood by its neighbors, has stood by humanity, has stood for what is right. That is why I stand with Qatar now. That is why I cannot and will not remain silent.
What has unfolded in recent months has not merely shaken Qatar, it has shaken the conscience of the world. Actions that undermine the dignity, sovereignty, and security of Qatar cannot be normalized. They cannot be excused. They must not be allowed to set precedent. I condemn without hesitation and without reservation the injustices and the aggression Qatar has endured. No nation deserves to live under the weight of intimidation. No people deserve to feel abandoned by their neighbors in their hour of trial. If we believe in the vision of a shared Gulf future, then we must also embrace shared responsibility, shared humanity, and shared protection. To my brothers and sisters of the region, to those who sit in parliaments and palaces, I say this: history is listening. Generations yet unborn will one day ask, what did you do when an ally was placed in peril? Did you speak, or did you remain silent? Did you build bridges, or did you deepen divides? Did you choose justice, or did you choose convenience?
And so, with all humility, but also with all urgency, I turn directly to His Royal Highness Mohammed Bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. I speak not to diminish you, but out of profound respect for the enormous responsibility you carry and the transformative potential you hold in your hands. Your voice does not echo only in Riyadh. It reverberates through every capital of this region and far beyond. The Middle East listens when you speak. The wider world takes note when you act. This is not because of oil reserves or economic wealth alone, but because of the position of influence entrusted to you at a moment of great consequence. Influence can divide or unite. It can escalate or reconcile. It can weaken or strengthen. And with influence comes responsibility. Responsibility not only to your own people, but to neighbors, allies, and generations yet to come. But responsibility is also an opportunity not to be feared, but to be seized. The chance to leave a legacy defined not by discord, but by concord, not by rivalry, but by reconciliation. That chance before you is immense. It is the chance to lead your nation and your region into a new chapter, one built not on suspicion, but on trust, not on isolation, but on cooperation, not on fragile truces, but on durable partnerships. This region, rich in history and faith, does not need to be defined by perpetual rivalry. It can, under your leadership, become a beacon of unity and resilience. But it requires bold steps. It requires the courage to rise above the politics of the day and embrace the statesmanship of the century. Your Highness, imagine for a moment the message that would echo if Saudi Arabia, under your leadership, extended visible and genuine reassurance to Qatar, affirming its safety, its dignity, and its value as a partner. That act alone could send shockwaves of hope throughout the Gulf, across the Arab world, and into the global community. It would announce to the world, a new chapter has begun. The old patterns of mistrust are ending. A new standard of leadership has emerged. This is not about erasing differences or pretending challenges don't exist. It is about recognizing that in a turbulent world, true security comes not from the weakness of neighbors, but from their strength. Prosperity flows not from division, but from unity. Stability is not born of domination, but of cooperation. Qatar has consistently shown loyalty to allies, compassion to strangers, and leadership in times of crisis. When disaster struck distant nations, Qatar sent aid. When refugees sought safety, Qatar welcomed them. When conflicts erupted elsewhere, Qatar offered mediation. This is not the record of a self-serving state, but of a nation guided by principle. And yet, in its own hour of vulnerability, Qatar finds itself threatened and isolated. That cannot stand. That must not stand.
Your Highness, Silence in this moment would not be neutrality. It would be complicity. Silence would not mean balance. It would mean betrayal of the very values this region claims to hold dear. True leadership does not shrink from difficult choices. It embraces them. True leadership does not hide in ambiguity. It offers clarity. I appeal to you, seize this moment. Let your legacy be written not in terms of temporary pressures, but in terms of enduring peace. Let it be said that under your leadership, the Gulf turned away from old wounds and toward new possibilities. Let it be said that your decisions transformed suspicion into solidarity and division into dialogue. Because the truth is this: the Gulf can and must be a beacon of unity. It has the culture, the faith, the intertwined history to do so. But it requires leaders who dare to reach across divides, who dare to extend a hand where fists have long been clenched.
This is the time to respond, not with hesitation, but with conviction, not with symbolic gestures, but with real action. Respond to Qatar's plea for protection. Respond to the universal yearning for peace. Respond to the calls from ordinary men and women who simply want to raise their children with dignity, free from fear and open to a future of shared prosperity. The world is indeed watching, not as spectators, but as stakeholders. Energy markets, security alliances, humanitarian partnerships, all are shaped by the choices the Gulf makes today. The people, too, are watching, waiting for evidence that their leaders will not let mistrust shape their future, waiting for proof that brotherhood and unity are more than empty slogans. Let us then choose courage over complacency. Let us choose reconciliation over rivalry. Let us choose to build bridges so strong that no storm can wash them away. Qatar has stood for humanity. Now humanity must stand for Qatar. And those with the greatest power, those like you, His Royal Highness Mohammed Bin Salman, have the greatest responsibility. The choice is yours. The responsibility is yours. The opportunity is yours. But so too is the glory of what history will remember if you seize it.
I extend my voice not to condemn, but to call forth the best of leadership. I extend my hand not in accusation, but in partnership. I extend my hope that together we can transform this moment of crisis into a turning point for generations to come. Let it be remembered not as a moment of betrayal, but as the dawn of unity, not as the deepening of wounds, but as the beginning of healing, not as the echo of old rivalries, but as the birth of a new era of trust. Stand with Qatar. Stand for justice. Stand for humanity. Stand for peace. And let history record that when the Gulf stood at a crossroads, its leaders chose unity over division, courage over fear, and a shared future over